Okay guys, so this is a short video to walk you through how we convert this data. Here we have one page from a book by Ian Morris, The Measure of Civilizations, and we want to digitize this data, extract it from this image into a file so that we could actually graph it and visualize it, okay? So as we discussed before, for that we need to use some OCR engine. We talked about using Tesseract, and I gave you the link for the video that you should check for more details on how to use it. Meanwhile, since it's only one page, we'll just use an online engine. Okay, so this is our image. We don't really even need to download it. We can just do save image as. We save it into our downloads folder, or whatever you want to save it. Okay, saving it. So sample page PNG. Now we go to our to the online OCR engine. It's super primitive. Doesn't do much, but it's sufficient for our purposes right now. Here we select file and we choose that image. In here, the language doesn't really matter since it's largely numbers, but English will do just fine. And here it's important to make sure to select text plain, and after that we just click convert. It will take a few moments, and we'll see the results here, right? We click on download output file. It will download this. It's going to be actually the same file with just extension txt. On my computer, I already have Sublime Text installed, so I'll just click on it, and it will open the file with its contents. So now what we need to do is we need to convert this scanned data into tidy data that we discussed. And as we discussed, we agreed on that we actually need 4 columns here, right? One is for the date, the year, then for the era, or before common era and common era, right? And then we have 2 columns for west and for east. The problem that we have here is that we actually have our data in 8 columns instead of 4, so we need to we need to convert it somehow, right? What I'll show here is essentially just kind of like a quick solution for this kind of data. It can come in handy later on when you do something like this, but in most cases you'll have to be quite creative in how you convert data from printed format into a digital. Okay, so what we'll do here is that we can add columns right here. Let's say year, and after that era. Okay, so let's consider those are our columns. We remove this as we don't need this don't need that. And this is actually those additional 4 columns, right, which we need to fold into the first columns that we have here. And in order to do so, we can do just this, right, as I showed you during class. And we can do it manually since the amount of data is not significant, so we can actually do that quite easily. Let's do it just like this. When you have lots of data, it's better to do some kind of a script that will do the conversion through the rule-based approach. Okay, we'll make sure to delete this funny symbol at the end. So now we almost have our columns. The problem that we have in here is that this is not really a tabular data just yet. Namely, this is how we can test it. Let's select everything, copy, and go to any program that deals with tabulated data. So for example, Google Spreadsheet. And if I paste it here, all stuff will go into a single column. Which means that that's not exactly what we want, right? So how to fix that? What we want essentially is to replace all these spaces, and now when all this is selected, you can see spaces as those like gray dots. What we want now is to replace them, and in order to find replace a window in Sublime, you need to go to find and click replace, and it will open these two windows, find and replace. Here we'll need some regular expressions. I'm not going to go into what regular expressions are. Do make sure that this this button here is activated. And here what we'll do, we'll insert one regular expression, which will be space, and note how every single space is now highlighted. And now let's add plus, and now you can see that it's not just a single spaces that are highlighted, but extents of all spaces are highlighted, right? So okay, so yeah, now we can actually replace all these spaces, whether it's single space, multiple space, with something else. We want to replace it with tabs. So the tab here will be backslash and T. And please take a note here that they are not black in color, right? So for example, if I remove this backslash, the T will be of black color, right? So it's treated as a character. As soon as I add this backslash, it's treated as a special character. Also, if regular expressions are not activated, they also will be treated as regular characters. So this is your kind of cue to help you to see if you're doing things right or not. So now we'll replace it with tabs, replace all, and that's essentially it. One other thing I'll do here is that, again, if we go here, see they're like tabs at the very end. We can also remove them. We can also remove them with a regular expression. Here it will be backslash T, but you see now it finds all tabs. Since we don't know all tabs, we want only tabs that occur at the very end of line, we can use $sign, which is a regular expression for a character for end of the line boundary. And so we now find only tabs at the very end, and we can replace with nothing, which will delete them. So now we have our data clean. In order to test if everything is correct, we can again do Control-C to select everything, Control-A and then Control-C to copy, and then we can go back to our, again, say Google Spreadsheet, and if we paste, now you see everything is pasted into columns, right? There we have a problem with resolving this CE, BCE stuff. One thing you can do, you can manually just add minuses for every BCE option, and after that, when it's added, you can rearrange it, but you don't even need to bother about that, because you can when you analyze it in R, it won't matter. But as we discussed and as it was suggested, we can actually automatically add minuses, so create them into negative BCE numbers into negative numbers using mutate and if else. So I didn't tell you how to do that. So what you can do is always mutate. Let's say always search tidy verse mutate if else, and you'll have the suggestions right away, and just go ahead and check one of these one of these links, and you'll find a way how to do that. And yeah, and that's essentially it. Now just you can actually keep it just like that, simple page with tabular data morris.txt. You don't really need to change the extension, but changing extension helps. And let me do this, save as. If you have any applications that are associated with this file format, TSV, here, this is my download folders. This is the TSV file, and I have a specific app which is associated with this. On Mac, it's Easy CSV Reader, and here right away it automatically recognizes it as a table. We just need to change the decimal for period from comma, and now it's opening as a table, right? So the data is ready for further work.